I originally wasn't planning on making a video right now, but I was actually working on the intro, and it kind of reminded me of my childhood, and overall gave me a whole bunch of nostalgia, because if you're from my day, my neck of the woods if you will, you know what that screen is. People these days don't know what that is. Well, obviously they actually do, but what I'm saying is back in the day, back in the old days, when we used to be watching cable TV, I know people still watch it now, but not as much as we used to. Kids are on YouTube and shit now, but that reminds me of my childhood of watching TVO Kids. If you're of Ontario, you know what that is. But yo, there were some of the coldest shows you ever seen on there, man. I swear there's one that keeps recurring to me, and it's been stuck in my head for the past like 3 days, and I've been thinking about it a lot. It's a show called Tinga Tinga. Like, the whole premise of the show was just some animals basically explaining a whole bunch of African folk tales about animals while teaching a little bit of the language Swahili, which I actually loved that when I was a kid, because I natively spoke Swahili because I'm from Malawi, and that place is basically a mixing pot for refugees from all over Africa. And I interacted with a lot of Swahili people. Well, not Swahili people, they're from Congo, but I interacted with a lot of them, and I learned Swahili through them. So it was really cool to see that there was at least some recognition of that language outside of Malawi and Congo, which is how it's said in Swahili. But I really liked that show. I actually went back and watched an episode. Like, each episode is only about 10 minutes or so. But even then, like, I don't know if it's just because of nostalgia, but I watched the entire thing and I was entertained. But I feel kind of like an idiot because, like, it's a kid's show, but it's actually very competently done. Like, the animation style, you don't see much like it. It's kind of simple, but also reflects that a lot of work and love was put into it, because you can tell the people behind it clearly were not idiots. They were competent with what they were doing, and you don't see anything else like it. It was really like a relic of its time. You'll never really see anything else like that these days, and it feels very different from things we see these days, because it's more authentic. I don't even know how exactly. Maybe it's just my nostalgia kicking in. But I saw the cast on IMDb, and genuinely it was voiced by a mostly African cast. There were some Jamaicans, but mostly it's Africans and black people. And it's very competently written. I feel as if it's bringing me back to the days when my parents or people from the village I was from would tell me stories, not just about animals, but stories about how plants became the way they are, how the earth was created. Obviously, I didn't really believe it, but it was a very fun thing to hear, a good story to pass the time, and Tinga Tinga really does bring me back to that time. And I would solemnly recommend it to anyone who wants to get that kind of feeling, that sort of like childhood upbringing in Africa, or at least the more undeveloped parts of it, where you're being told a story by someone that you respect, and it's being told with a lot of sincerity and a lot of love, and it's just very nostalgic for me. I don't think it'll hit many other people the same way it did for me, but I hope that if you listen to this, you should check it out, or consider showing it to someone younger, because I think it'll actually affect them very well in, I don't know, like interacting with people. I'm not sure what the point of me even making this video is. I've just been rambling about a show that I really liked from a long time ago, and I think I might even make that a whole thing, looking back at my childhood, because there are a lot of shows that I really loved from back then. Like, TVO Kids was the shit. Like, everyone who's not from Ontario, you're not gonna get this. But whenever you got home from school, first thing you turned on was TVO Kids. It's the best part about it is that it was 100% free. Whatever cable you had going, TVO Kids was included for free, because the whole thing is funded by the province of Ontario, and more specifically Toronto. And in fact, it was kind of fun because a lot of the shows were actually shot in Ontario, and I got to see some of the places, and it felt kind of weird because I felt like I was on a movie set until I remembered, oh yeah, this is a real place. And yeah, another thing kind of like that was Treehouse. Treehouse was kind of a funny situation because when I was a kid and I was in grade 1 through grade 6 maybe, everyone knew we were watching Treehouse. Treehouse was traditionally supposed to be made for babies or made for kids, and everyone knew we were watching Treehouse. Everyone knows 2B&B knew was the shit, and it was only available on Treehouse. But every time you get to school and people start talking, you're like, nah, man, I've never seen Treehouse in my life. In fact, if I see someone watching Treehouse, I'm about to slap them. You know what it is. But sure as hell, the moment you get home, you turn on that TVO kit. If it's not playing something good like Odd Squad, you're going straight over to Treehouse. You're watching Treehouse. You know what it is.
You're watching